I don't think we're not evil. We don't.
Okay, good.
But our our only goal would be to do something that would be good for Bitcoin. So we found a way. If I could find a metric that would convince every institutional investor to buy more Bitcoin, then I would publish that. And if we could use our technology to make Bitcoin more secure for every hodler, then maybe I would do that. But right now, we've been scanning. We don't really see anything that merits commercialization. So you can expect that we'll use our technology as a force of good should we find an opportunity to do so.
Perfect. I like that answer. But what I will say is, any plebs that are watching that don't trust and prefer to verify, if Mr. Saylor happens to become evil, which I'm not expecting, but if it happens, I have a list of easy things that you can do to just protect yourself from on-chain analytics. So you can coin join, you can use non-KYC exchanges like BISC, you can learn about UTXO control, you can utilize things like the Lightning Network, and as long as you understand the trust trade-offs, you can also utilize something like Liquid Sidechain with confidential transactions. Now, conveniently, I also posted links to tutorials on all of the above preemptively in the show notes. So if you're curious, you can go and do all of those things right now. But with that said, thank you, Michael, for getting that out of the way. Let's dive into the real show, because this is what everybody's excited for. We're all super bullish. I already know that. Let's just go into it. I'm going to start us off with a topic, and then we'll get rolling. Preston will pull up next. But my reason for being bullish right now is that I believe that the plebs still have the home field advantage. And the reason for this, I believe, is twofold. One is mindset, and two is actually, to me, ease of entry. And there may be some pushback on this from the panel, but let's cover the ease of entry first. I think that the plebs are nimble enough, like they don't have the red tape, right? They don't have to deal with red tape in acquiring Bitcoin. A lot of the plebs watching here have had the pleasure of front running Michael Saylor for many, many years. So, but let's put aside the fact that his DCAs destroy our regular stacks. But it's very easy for individuals to get into Bitcoin. Institutions, a little bit more red tape right now. But I think where the plebs really pull ahead currently, and why it's still a plebs game and a plebs world, is because the rest of the world is not in that mindset. They don't understand what's happening. They're still in a fiat mindset produced by a fiat world. You get examples like Keith McCullough. He's trying to time everything. He's talking about quad 4 previously in Michael's interview, which quickly turned into quad poor. You have Jim Cramer bragging about dumping half his stack, selling his funny money for real money just the other day. He's celebrating that. They don't understand the game. The plebs do. It's not about dollar accumulation. It's the only number that matters is how many sats are actually being held. So, I see that Bitcoiners are kind of miles ahead in this line of thinking, and some of the high net worth individuals are just getting to this place. They're just, we see the early inklings of it, but the plebs still have a whole lot of high net worth individuals to front run still. Now, when they do get it, that red tape, I think, will go away. It will become a lot easier for them to get in. But right now, and I'm looking at all the plebs right now, you do have an opportunity to kind of tip the scales, to abandon your fiat slavery and build dynasties on a foundation of immutable code. So please don't fucking waste it. I'm going to pass it down the line here. If anybody has comments about the idea that this is kind of a unique moment in time for plebs to tip the scales, I think I'm maybe going to start here with HODL, because he embodies a pleb pretty good.
Yeah, I've talked about this before. I think our culture has just pervasive nihilism going on, and this degen trading, whether it's on Wall Street Bets and GameStop and AMC, or it's Dogecoin, or whatever it is a fundamentally like nihilistic, fatalistic position. You're saying, listen, my life is crap and it's going to be crap for the foreseeable future, so I might as well YOLO it all in, with a bunch of leverage, and maybe I'll get a Lamborghini out of it, maybe not. It doesn't matter to me because my life is already bad, right? Whereas Bitcoin is bedrock. It is rational optimism. It is people building for a hopeful future so that they can have families and a prosperous life and the American dream that we were all sold, So like, I'm always super bullish when I see people who get that instead of people who are chasing the USD gains.
Yeah, I'd agree. Now let's go to the other side of the aisle here. Michael, you came in last year like a tidal wave, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this dynamic of people that are nimble enough as individuals, and I'm talking more percentage of net worth, to be able to get it into Bitcoin and understand the value of doing so. Are you seeing the inklings of, I guess I know you are, but I'll let you speak here. What are you seeing on your end in terms of mindset?
I think it takes, as I said before, like 40 hours before you really fully appreciate everything about Bitcoin. And if you're a genius, you might figure it out in 10 hours. And if you're impatient and you spend 1 or 2 hours, like, you could see it, the people that are like, they buy it, they sell it, they love it, and then they sell half of it. Like, and then you get the sense that they probably didn't put in the 40 hours. And so I think that what's bullish from your point to your point, right, is the plebs that put in the 40 hours, or they put in the time to understand what they're doing, have the conviction, and they have strong hands. And I think there's a lot of people, I went and I talked to, I don't know how many billion-dollar entities when Bitcoin was 10,000 to 20,000. And I said, you guys, you have to buy this. This is the most screaming home run, the best thing I've seen in my entire life. And I proceed to explain in detail over 60 minutes. At the end of 60 minutes, I get to the punchline, which is, you can make $1 billion here, and it's the easiest $1 billion you're ever going to make. All you have to do is buy $1 billion of Bitcoin and announce to the public you bought it. That's all you have to do. They've all got $10 billion. Okay? We get to the end of 60 minutes. I'm all revved up. I'm like, you guys got questions? I can answer more questions. We can go another half an hour if you want, because this is important to the world. And I would assume you're going to make $1 billion. It's important to you. They're all like, we have another meeting we got to go to. Sorry, we got to go. So the meeting ends, they go off. And then occasionally, like, I'd find that, obviously some bought it, right? Because it went up. But then I'd hear, yeah, well, we bought $350 million and then we sold it at 25,000, or we bought it at 15, we sold it at 30, or we sold half of it at 30, or like, yeah, we did this and we, when it got ahead of it, it got ahead of itself at 37,000, so we took half the position off, and I'm like, And the point is, like, there are people in the world that'll buy 500 million of this stuff, but they still won't put more than 2 hours into the research. And then, and then they'll dump it after they get a 42%, run up.
Do you think that's going to be a prevailing theme, like, through the year, where companies make crazy gains and then they dump a good chunk of it?
I think that it's the Bitcoin is much more collared now. I think it's run up 30%, down 15%, up 40, down 20. It's because these hedge fund and institutional investors, that they know enough to know that maybe they should buy some, but they don't know enough to know not to sell it, So I think that they're the ones that they buy in because it's a good trading idea, and then they sell it after it runs up 50% or take half off, and they feel really smart about that. I took half, like I took profits, I took half. I can't remember who said that recently. Somebody said,
yeah.
But and then it comes down again, and they're like, "Oh, I sold it at 40,000, but it hit 30,000. I'll buy back in." And so they're, you could hate on them because they're selling when it's high, but then when it comes, the same people that will sell it as a trading idea up 50. They'll buy back in because they know it's a good idea if it goes down. And so they're stabilizing the entire asset for everybody else. And I guess that's good, right? We need, by the way, if there's no one to sell it, like I've been saying since it was 10,000, I'm like, who are these people selling to me? Like, why would anybody sell this to me? I can't believe it. But, my friend Eric Weiss says, Mike, if there's no one on the other side of the trade, you couldn't have bought it.
Yeah.
So we kind of need someone to be a skeptical mercenary when it goes to 30. So other people all the people you recruited that started stacking when it was 30, they couldn't have stacked if there wasn't some skeptical institution that was selling it when they were coming in. And the same is true right now.